Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the 5 a.m. Mester Scrum Show. Hope you're doing well today. I don't know. I got a half Monday, but I'm pumped up about the week for other things. But I had the tree guy come out today to talk about taking down our 80 to 100-year-old tree. Just because I finally lost the court case against the guy next door wants to build a really small house that will take out half the tree. So it'll be an unsafe condition. So planning for that in the future is kind of depressing, but appreciate all the time I had with the tree and everything like that. But that has nothing to do with what we're talking about Scrum and Agile, but it is part of life and things you figure things out. Today I want to talk about I was listening to a podcast or video cast with JJ Sutherland because they're out there promoting more of the Scrum at Scale, his Scrum Inc. Activities and what they're doing. I think they just did a anniversary show, which I totally recommend looking into and listening to. I think they said they're going to record it and post it up on the recording too. And he made a comment about velocity, and that's what kind of perked my always thinking about the metrics and everything. And one of the things he said was velocity is not a performance metric. It is a planning metric. And I go, that is a really interesting observation and a great comment. So I wanted to expand upon that a little bit today. And this is the 5 a.m. Mester Scrum Show, and I'm Greg Mester, Scrum Master and Agile Coach. And here we talk about Scrum and Agile in a very practical and tactical way, so you can bring value to your customer, not work extra hard to do it, and have a little fun along the way. Oh, and speaking of growth, so I did post up a cleaner recording of our meetup.com episode from last week. It was the 17th of May, about 6 o'clock p.m. We had Scott Sampson. He presented his Smurfs version of Scrum. What Scrum Master's value stream, relationship value stream, calls it Smurfs. And I put that up there. So if you're interested, it's up on YouTube and in podcast version too. So you can listen to that today. And also wanted that broad out there. A couple things. I am looking to post a chat GPT blog about bubbles. My question for anybody, if you want to message me back, should it be a daily blog or a weekly blog? Let me know what you think. Both have their positive and negatives. I think I can handle both. I'm trying to figure out how I want to do an audio version of it without spending a lot of extra money on it, because it's just an experiment. And let me know what you think. Oh, and the other thing is, from the meetup activities, I am thinking about, I'm going to put up a post, get some feedback from everyone to really make it more open and advertise a little more for people who want to grow their professional experience, prep for like Agile Alliance conferences, online summit, any kind of summit, any kind of presentation where you want to present your product and be a member of the 5 a.m. Mester Scrum meetup group. And then you could present your item, your idea, get some practice in it, see how it works with multiple people. Looks like how it does with Zoom and social media and timing and practice, so that you also get some credibility and some stuff that you can feed in as part of your proposal for giving that out. So let me know if you think that's a good idea. If you're interested in presenting, I don't have anybody. I haven't really gone out to anybody for our June session, which would be, let's see, June would be the third Wednesday, right? So that would be 1, 2, 3. It would be the 21st of June at 6 p.m. So looking to do one on the 21st of June, 6 p.m. I don't have anything scheduled at this point in time, but if you're interested in sharing a presentation or something like that with the meetup group, please feel free to message me. You can reach me at connect at 5 a.m. Mester Scrum, or Mester at 5 a.m. Mester Scrum, or you can connect with me on LinkedIn or any one of the social media entities that we are on right now. So with that, let's get to the metrics. It's Metric Monday. I gave a lot of intro what's going on in the world. So JJ Sutherland, who's doing a podcast or a show, I forget, it's been a while since he did it, and I just taking notes on my phone. And he made that good point about velocity is not a performance metric. It's a planning metric. It's for planning purposes. And I totally like that because so many people, when you go to coach them or teams or managers, like, oh, can I use velocity to measure how well my developers or my QA people are working? Ideally, the answer is no. You can't use it that, but you need a better answer than no, right? What is velocity? Is it a measure of performance? Not really. It's a quasi, but it's not really a performance metric, and mostly because, well, if you write your stories correctly, they are a convolution of multiple people participating. You really want to see how your team does at delivering product. That's the question, right? So, in the velocity perspective, it's just a sizing, a planning tool to help you figure out whether or not it's a good or quasi good estimate for what you can get done in a sprint. Maybe it'll help you in safe to plan a couple sprints down where you can do a quarter and you can kind of give sizes for epics and features. Let's say, your typical story size is 3 points or 2 points, whatever it would be. And then your epic or your feature sizes are larger. Let's say they're 10, 15 points. The question is, how many epics can you get in a sprint? And then you plan the quarter. And it's more of a planning tool because a couple things. One, we all know estimates are wrong, right? So why would you want to base something on performance, which really isn't a performance metric? Like if you do a 100-meter dash and you run it, and it is what it is. It's that performance that you've met at the end of the finish line. It's not what you estimated you could run the dash at, right? You know what you did. Plus, there's so much give and take between each person and how they measure velocity. It's just supposed to get you in a right. I do it a bullseye. I should have brought my whiteboard out, but I use a bullseye mentality where you get close enough to be good to give a realistic planning estimate of what you're going to get done and give a goal for the team to give them some realistic goals that aren't outrageous. Like when teams start, oh, we can do all this work, even myself every day. I'm like, oh, I can do all this work. And then I don't do it all. I do one or two. It just gets you into that realistic estimate for what you want to do for planning purposes, not necessarily for what you perform at. So maybe an answer you can give, can I measure my performance of my team? And another thing, it's team by team. Each team does different. Each application is different. How they measure size of application integrations, stuff like that, depends on the maturity of the team. You can't say one works for all of them because they're all different maturity levels, right? So you can't compare velocities. You can compare how much each team grows compared to another team, but it also depends how mature they are, because I had the same problem with new teams. We could talk about that another day. So what can you say? Velocity is not a measure of performance, but a measure of plan or a metric for planning purposes. So it's about giving an idea how much work can get done in that time box. And that's what you give them. And so our goal is to give a more accurate, a better percentage within 10% of what we think we can get done, and to not make these promises. I like using the commitment for all this work to get done. And in reality, we can only get this much, but we're promising all this and we're giving false hopes. And my goal with velocity is to prevent you from giving false hopes, using that velocity number to help you plan for what you think you can get done in the sprint that's realistic, right? And not necessarily 100% accurate, right? So I wouldn't want to base a performance number, a job based on some individual based on velocity, because it's not an accurate measure. It's not really fair, right? So it's not accurate to 100%. Well, it's got to be accurate. Well, estimates aren't accurate. It's what you get done and deliver at the end. The team as a whole delivers this much product every time they go. That is more the value, the performance of the team. So I wanted to share that with you. Just a little bit of take on velocity is not a performance measure, but a measure for estimating what could potentially be done in a sprint. Not that will be done, but what could potentially. And if as you get better at it, you get within 10%. It's an A, right? It's an A in school. It's good. But if you have a team that one day is 50% less than estimate, another day 150% above estimate, that's not enough stability to kind of give an idea what you can get done as far as product goes or that velocity. And that velocity helps teams get a better conversation, a better sharing with their stakeholders and what they can do. And as they get time, there's more confidence, more conversation, more trust that gets built in. It helps build that trust between groups. You're not overestimating, you're not as underestimating, it gives you a good idea. So I wanted to share that with you today. It was an interesting point that JJ Sutherland made about velocity not being a performance metric, but an estimation metric. So I wanted to expand on that. Please feel free to give me your thoughts on what we talked about if you want, and we can share that. And again, if you have a presentation you want to give, think about doing it on our meetup.com group and sharing your thoughts, get some practice in for those bigger presentations. With that, I say, you have a great day. Happy scrumming, and we will see you tomorrow. Don't forget to check out Scott Sampson's presentation from our last meetup. And with that, take care. Bye, everyone.